Hello everyone, I'm Bobin Seo. I'll be your host for today. And today we have a very special guest here in the studio, a partnership with SBCN, Director of Business and International Development, Clarie Kwa from 360F. Hello Clarie, it's very nice to meet you.
Hi Bobin, thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes, so before we go ahead, can you just give a brief introduction of yourself and what 360F is to our viewers?
Yeah, so I'm Clarie. I'm from Singapore, where the weather is very different from currently what we have now. 360F is a B2B business. Our clients are the life insurance and the banks. And we spend all our effort, our brain power on innovating applications for financial advisory.
And so what does 360F, the name, mean? What does F stand for?
Well, the boring answer is F stands for financial services because it's all about financial advisory. But that said, F is also a good meaning for foresight because in financial advisory, it is really about planning for the uncertainties, planning for something that you cannot predict, right? And therefore, it's really great to have foresight. But having the foresight is not easy, right? You need the machine, you need the experience, you need the gut feel.
Right.
Yeah. So F for foresight became very meaningful to us.
So then I have understood that 360F is like an insurtech business. How did you and your CEO start into this business?
Well, I came from the financial advisory industry since 10 years ago. And even my CEO, he has 20 years in financial services. I primarily have my experience in Asia and he has his experience in Europe. We had something in common. We noticed that year in, year out, after decades, nothing has changed. Which is quite a pity, right? Because we are talking about technology. Our handphones are getting smaller. Our TV is getting more and more unique, but things that support financial decisions, it has not changed. So, but that means it's good because there are opportunities for us to tap on. So we started 360F to focus on financial advisory.
So then I've noticed that there are a lot of other insurtech businesses and companies, even here in Korea. How does 360F kind of differ from other insurtech companies?
360F has the very unique skill of blending insurance and investment domain applications together. This is important because we work for the man on the street. The man on the street, he needs to grow his wealth. He wants to send his children to good schools, right? He needs to retire, so he needs to invest. But he will not be investing fast enough, his wealth will not be growing fast enough for him. So in the meantime, he needs some form of insurance protection. So he needs both. But if you look at the insurtech or the fintechs in the market, they only have very siloed approach, which I think is not very difficult to explain why this happens because people from the insurance industries are very different from those who come from the banking side. Let's just say it's difficult to find both in one person. So we make the conscious efforts to blend these two disciplines together. And one important thing is we insist that it needs to be scientific. It needs to be proven by math so that at the end of the day, we can safely say that whatever that we are producing is factual. In the financial advisory industry, everything is regulated. So it has to be really driven by research, deep science, in order to explain later on to the institutions and the regulators on how our application works.
Hearing this from you, I feel like this kind of product is for someone like me who doesn't know anything about insurance, who maybe needs something for my future, for my kids, for my family. It seems like that kind of product and investment. So then what can 360F provide? What's a primary subject or product that you guys can provide for people like me or anyone else?
Well, currently we are still not in the business of supplying our applications to you, but we would love to talk to your advisor, right? Your advisor still has a very important role. Your advisor is the one who really nudges you and say that, Bobin, you need to do this, right? He still has the relationship skill. But your advisor is a very busy person. Besides the relationship, he needs to understand his products. He needs to come up with a very nice Excel spreadsheet to you and even look into the crystal ball and predict for you, which is, let's say, humanly not possible. So here, 360F comes into the picture where we give the advisor some applications. Today, our flagship product is an autopilot for financial happiness. Now, this financial happiness is an abstract term, but it's not difficult to understand. it is really about juggling all our necessities together. So for example, you need the cash flow to live the way you like, right? At the same time, you want to make sure that if any crisis is to happen, you still have the financial power to cope with it. And you still want your travels, you still want to retire, you still want a lot of things. So you still need to grow your wealth. So 3 things balanced up nicely will give you that holistic financial happiness. And that is something we give the advisor the means to help you deliver that.
Speaking of financial happiness, what is your point of view? What's financial happiness to you?
This is a tricky question. I have 2 cats at home.
Oh, okay.
And of course, I'm married. But sometimes my husband complains that the cats are more important than him. And to me, financial happiness is making sure that they are well fed, right? That we can actually afford to have them. We still have a house together, right? And of course, if I can don't work, maybe that would be an option. Well, I still like to work, but it is an option. So that's financial happiness to me. It's extremely unique to everybody. Right? Like Bobin, I'm very sure you have your idea of financial happiness will be very different from mine.
Exactly. I mean, the word financial happiness, it doesn't really come to my mind like first, but it's like it's a word or a phrase that I should think about more deeply, kind of. Yeah.
The funny thing about financial happiness is it's actually not about the money. The money is the means, so that we are comfortable with that portion of our life, and then we just focus our efforts on things that matter the most to us. Right?
Yes.
So it's really not about the money, but let's settle that part with financial happiness. Once we have reached, we've made sure that we are financially happy, the rest of our life happiness is really for us to focus on.
Right. I think that's like a correct, not correct, but like a broad kind of definition that makes the financial happiness right.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have some bad impression of insurance, investments.
Exactly.
Right? Which is really a pity because we need them. So we need to, let's say, it's more than just transform. We need to change the concept of how we see money. And people have told me, right, it's difficult to imagine financial happiness.
Exactly.
I said, because we think money is evil.
Exactly, yeah.
But we need them.
And speaking of something else, right now you're in Korea, but I know this is not your first time in Korea. Can you tell us about how many times you've been in Korea and what your reasons of visiting Korea?
I first came to Korea for travels 5 years ago.
Wow. And how was it then?
Very unique. 5 years ago, I came here primarily for the food. I love Korean food. I love Korean food. I mean, my Korean friends tell me that I have a more local taste than them.
Really?
And then since then, I make it a point to come to Korea every year. So Seoul, Busan, Jeju, Gwangju, you name it, right?
It seems that you've been to more places than I have been.
Unfortunately, something I have not managed to overcome is the language. Really, in order to learn the language, I would really love to master the language.
But it's so difficult, right?
It is really, I should learn it because I love the food. I want to be able to read the menu. And then this year, the 360F, we got into K Startup Grand Challenge. This is organized by NIPA in Gyeonggi. So as part of the program requirements, we have to somehow make a settlement base here in Seoul and Pyeongtaek. So that's how we ended here. And I've been commuting here for almost every 2 weeks or so to Seoul. And let's just say I thought I knew Korea. Apparently, I still have a lot to learn.
But you're coming back and forth quite a few times, so you get to know it more,
I know the transport system very well now.
So then, I know your business is based in Singapore, and now you're expanding to Korea. Why Korea and Singapore?
We have a little joke in Singapore. The Singapore office is based in Little Korea, Tanjong Pagar. This is where all the Korean restaurants are. The bridal stores are also from Korea. So we always say that, hey, we should be in the real Korea.
Not the little Korea in
Not
Singapore.
little Korea, where soju is more affordable.
True.
The jokes aside, Korea is actually a hidden gem. I say it's a hidden gem because a lot of people actually have told me that it would be a difficult place to have business in, primarily the culture and the language. However, after joining the K Startup Grand Challenge, I explored and researched the market in person. It's always better to be in person than doing a desktop research. I realized that Korea has one of the highest insurance penetration here in the world. It's a first world country. Technology is really good. People embrace technology. I heard that even a 70-year-old uses the Samsung Galaxy like nobody's business, right? Everybody's ready for digital. And then I realized something. Everyone hates the advisor.
Right.
People run away from the insurance agent. I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity. It means that there is a lot of room for improvement, but it can be done because people can embrace technology. Right. So it's a hidden gem. Still not an easy market, and that's why we work with SBCN now.
Exactly. So then this business, this innovation of InsurTech, why do people need it? Why do Koreans need it? Or why do Asian markets need it?
I would say everybody needs it, right? Asia especially, year after year, you would have read the news or the research institutes, they will make their reports. The world is still not ready to retire. The world is still underprotected, and they will give you trillions of dollars, things that the numbers I can't even visualize it anymore, right? And you'll be wondering, why does the number not ever reduce?
Yeah.
Even in Singapore, imagine that, right? Also a first world country, also very technologically advanced. People are literate, but our protection gap has never reduced, right? So the world definitely needs to embrace insurance, but not the way it is currently, right? Today's insurance products are too complex.
Exactly.
Right? Now, even an MBA graduate will tell you that she or he does not understand the financial products, right? And they are not stupid people.
Yeah.
So things need to change, and therefore InsurTech becomes very important, right? At the end of the day, we all are making a living, not because for the sake of money, but really for the sake of our loved ones.
Exactly.
Right? And therefore, insurance actually plays a very important role.
A very, very new information even for me, and something that I should learn more even for my future, I guess.
You should.
So then, any last words you'd like to say to our Korean viewers?
Well, I hope the next time I am here, I should do this in Korean. But I'll probably have to rely on Bobin to help me with some lessons here. Yeah, and I really look forward to our partnership with SBCN, and the viewers here, you are very lucky to have SBCN.
Well, thank you today for your time, Clarie. It was
Thank
very
you,
nice
Bobby.
meeting you, talking to you. And I hope 360F goes on better in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, Bobin. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.